On Facebook.
Well, as soon as it finishes that last little bit.
Are you excited? Raise the energy again. Right, here we go.
No, we're not doing that one. Go away.
Oh, sorry, it is?
No,
Well,
it
there, look.
isn't. Go away.
We're there, look.
No, I know we are. That's not what I want us. Okay.
She's shouting at me.
Because this is where we need to be. Hello.
All right.
And people.
Because there's a delay on that one.
Yeah, knowing that there's a delay, if you've already joined us and are just starting with it, notice in the link below that there is a Zoom link down on the page on the in Facebook. Please click on the Zoom link rather than just watch if you can, simply because we want to be able to see you and have fun and interact with you, to be able to give you the best things that we can tonight. So that's why.
Are you writing some interesting things there, Salma?
Yeah.
I love it. There's nobody on. Oh, no, we're live. I won't ask any questions now because I realise we're live on Facebook. Speaking of the day, right? Any questions now because I realise we're live on Facebook.
That's how big
a day. Right. So that's not too long a gap. So people, if you're joining us, I'm just going to keep saying to you, please go down onto the links. So if you come on the live with us here, please go down onto the links and just
the live Zoom
and click on the live Zoom that's in the section underneath from the Lazarus group where I shared it earlier.
There's only 2 people on, which is us and Salma, so that's right at the minute.
So it's okay where we're at. So we'll just begin. Salma gets to get the most. Bless you for being here, darling. Right, so today's big share then is the part about the opposite to child. Now we've asked for some links on the child, but I don't know if anybody's given any. I don't think they have because we've actually been so very tied up. Oh, Beatrice is here. Hi, Beatrice. We've actually been so tied up today that I actually haven't had a chance to read what you've all been having to say about child.
No.
Hi, Beatrice. Lovely to see you. Yeah. We'll just wait until you get through.
Hello.
Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello.
I'll just introduce you to Salma. Salma, this is Beatrice. And Beatrice is...
Hi, Salma.
Beatrice is our star that actually has had a position where she is... well, she was the star person who had next to no shadow.
Yeah.
We won't share the whole of your results, Beatrice, but you were the one. Mm-hmm. You were the standout one, seriously stand out. So that stuff that you do that you don't talk about on here about is the that other stuff that you do is obviously bloody good stuff as well. But you did have some. You did have some. You had one that was 5.
Oh yeah, not 5, 3, 4.
3, 4.
Yeah.
What was your top one?
4 maximum.
Yeah. You see, you were super good. So
a prostitute.
So we know what you need to talk about then. We know what you need to talk about then.
Tonight's talk is about
child. Sovereign.
This morning's talk was about
Hi,
child.
Kashika.
Hi, Kashika.
See all my faces. I love the faces of the group being there. So just in case anybody's joined and is looking at this and going, how come she's got people on there? How come there are other people on there and not just Linda and Wendy on the Twins Council?
Yeah, because it is the Twins Council evening. I forgot
Twins
that.
Truth Council. We don't know. Yeah, never mind. It works. The thing is, anybody who's just joining now, if you're not actually...
Or doing it on catch up.
Or if you're not doing it on catch up, if you're actually here on the live on Facebook looking at it tonight, then click on the link below and then we can actually see your face and we can talk to you and interact, which is the nicest bit as well.
Yeah, the Zoom link is there below, just below the...
Zoom link is just below the live.
Right.
So as there is no one else there at this moment, let's just go on with where we're at. Yeah.
Let's get cracking.
Let's
talk nice. It's nice not to just talk to ourselves, being looking back at us as well, to be quite honest. Right. Thank you, Kashika.
Got you. You don't have to be on.
You might.
mute.
Have you got your earphones in just in case we come out with some potty words? So it's all right then.
Yeah, because we've just come off our weekly call that we do on Zoom on Eventbrite, and we've just come off it, and it was seriously potty mouthed tonight.
Yeah,
so good. Andrew's coming in. Hi,
Andrew's here.
lovely.
So we're doing sovereign. Remind me, we're doing sovereign.
You're doing
I keep
sovereign
forgetting what
tonight.
we're
You're doing
We're
sovereign tonight. I've got sovereign.
Good evening, Andrea. Nice to join us.
Hello.
Hi. It's the same picture that you've got on your Facebook thing. I was hoping to see a live person talking to
Yeah,
me.
you will do. I've just I'm kind of find a tidy enough room to sit in.
Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful Scots accent. Yeah, love it. You don't have to have a tidy room. We're not looking. She's there.
Yeah, we don't care.
No, we don't care. And yeah, Kashika's gone on to her pretty picture. Right, people. Hello and welcome. It's how lovely to see you all.
So does anybody want to share any thoughts that they have on their child shadow consciousness? Any examples that you've experienced during the day? And if you'll just either put it in the chat or speak out, if she could put it in the chat, anybody else just feel free to speak out.
Well, I'm going to start if it's okay with you.
It is?
Just the other day, it's not fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is, and quite often comes out of my mouth, in that unconscious way. And I realize it only after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I notice it, I observe it. It's still there. I mean, it's not that it will disappear forever, because it's going to be still there and triggered probably. But the fact that I observe it, and then work on it is it's going to dissolve, as you so nicely said this morning.
Yeah.
It's going to
The
dissolve.
secret is to know that it's a lie, Beatrice.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's not true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
True. It's not that it's not fair. It's a lie. It's a lie that your unconscious is telling yourself that there is anything such as fairness.
It's my perception.
Yeah. Yes. Fairness is the myth.
Yeah, and once you recognize it and disconnect from that feeling of being it, you have a little rant about the whole situation, but we'll come on to that in a minute. Anybody else got any examples from today? Go on, Kashika, if you've had any, you can put them into the chat so that we can share them. Andrea, what about you?
Yeah, I had a tantrum today.
So have I.
I was thankfully alone at the time.
What was your tantrum then?
Well, it's quite difficult at the minute. I'm carer for mum. She's got Alzheimer's, so the parent-child is really, really a big issue. And it's over bin bags. She can never find the bin bags. And every day this week I go in and she writes a shopping list. And it's really getting to me, because it's like demands. So every time I arrive, there's like a whole list of demands on the side of the fridge, I need this, I need this, I need this. And bin bags is always at the top of it. And she's got bin bags, and I know she's got a huge roll of bin bags. You can just never find them. But she was out today with this woman that walks dogs, sometimes comes and takes her. So when I arrived there, thankfully, I just saw the back end of her going out for a walk with this woman. And so I just went into the house, and right at the top of the list, bin bags. And I went, fucking bin bags.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But thankfully I was by myself. I was like, just calm down. Yeah, but that's a frequent kind of, I don't normally have a tantrum, but I was in at the end of my tether. So yes.
Yes,
that was my
today my tantrum was, it wasn't, and it was much more than I'm saying here now, that it wasn't fucking fair that introverts can get to enjoy lockdown and me can't get any of the things that I love to do. And I had an absolutely massive whopper, because it's just not fucking fair. And that was where it was coming from. And I can tell you that this
Yeah.
just sounds really calm now compared to where I was yesterday, because I recognise it's there's no such thing as fairness, and that what I was doing was just
You had a major rant, didn't you? And cleared some major crap.
I did. I cleared some major crap. And I thanked it. I was really thankful actually at the end of it, because and today I've just had all sorts of revelations and new things coming through. You know, when you talk about downloads of connections and the things that you know what you're doing, what we're doing and what you're doing here, ladies, and what you're working towards, you know, this great reset that they keep talking about, this great reset that they're all talking about, that's
Conspiracy. Well, it's not conspiracy.
it's a
is it?
conspiracy theory about the Great Reset, but the Great Reset is bugger all to do with what they think it is. The Great Reset is actually what's happening in the super consciousness, where each and every one of you is upgrading and up leveling. And in your upgrading and up leveling, we are transforming the world. So it's absolutely nothing to do with the shit that is being fed into us, that's from the psychological operations and all that sort of stuff. Because what's actually happening is there's this spiritual raising that is just part of why we're doing shadow alchemy. And it's that thing, and I don't know where I've written it down. I wrote it down somewhere else when I posted earlier on a page that we're on. It's this change about, it's where the lost souls, where we've lost connection to our higher consciousness, where we've lost connection to our sovereign, where we've lost connection to our lover, which are the two energies that we've done before. And we're going to come on to the magician and the warrior over the next 2 days. It's where we've lost connection with that is what keeps us from being who we really are, that keeps us living in the doldrums, and we call it Groundhog Day, where you keep living the same day over and over again until you change it. And it's just this that you're facing here and now and doing. And we're just so thrilled to be with you all on this journey and helping you get through it.
And yes, Kashika, I've been there. It's not fair. It's the child moment when you find that you're working Christmas Day, especially when they've asked for volunteers to work over Christmas and the New Year. Yeah, totally been there. Love.
I have a question. What's the difference between having a tantrum and just venting?
Right. The tantrum is when you're acting as though it's true and that you've just triggered and it's gone and it's full. The venting is what we recommend you to do, which is, and we call it a rant, in terms of, you know that you're doing it, you know that it's based on the lies that you've been telling yourself. You then detach from those lies that you've been telling yourself, and then you speak your truth. And that's the difference. But what is really good about this process is that it allows you to vent first. So it doesn't try to kind of deny the feelings. It doesn't try and pretend that the feelings are not there. It doesn't try and hide any of that. It actually allows the vent such that you can fully experience it before you dissolve it.
And it's about you name it, and it's the power of naming the lie. It's the power of naming the part of your consciousness that's lying to you, that's putting things in there. I forgot.
It's a little bit like, you know, I use there's two analogies, depending on which one you come.
One of mine today, and I'm going to do it. And
Child's coming out in me. Child's coming out in me.
Right. Today, what I was and I still think you're judging me, and she's still being as arrogant as fuck. That was one that I had this morning, which was my child rant about something that Wendy was doing, because she was actually in her sovereign and being quite nice, but I couldn't see that at the time. I just thought she was being an arrogant little fucker, or words to that effect, that was deliberately winding me up and doing me. So I actually had to do and if you're talking about a rant, boy, did I rant.
Oh, she ranted.
Boy, did she get it.
She ranted and I just sat there.
Full blast. And she wound me up even more just because she was calm. How dare she, the little twat. And it was that because remember, and it's just, and that's what led to these massive insights that have come to me this afternoon. So I am just so delighted that I let it go. But one of the things then is that I have now got I've got my daily comments about who I am. That is what I connect to every day. And when I find myself moving out of alignment, I just go back to it. Because I am a sovereign being who has the ability to decide what I want in life. But even more so, I am the power and presence of God in this universe. And I create my own reality. These are the words that our sovereign says, because she knows them to be true. And I'm only saying she because we've got no men. If there's a man that's on, he knows them to be true. It doesn't matter. And this is the way in which, when you move into that alternative, higher level consciousness of the same column, it changes everything. But it has to change at that level that you fucking believe it. There's no point saying it, you know, like affirmations that we've said for years, where we just keep saying the affirmations. I am the power and presence of God in this universe, and I know who I am.
And then there's this voice in your corner that goes, oh, no, you fucking don't.
So that's where you have to have totally dealt with that voice first. And that's where, having done the lies rant from your shadow of lies, your council of lies, when you've done that, you can then, you name it for what it is. You name which energy, which consciousness it's coming from. You recognize it's a lie, and then you can dispel it and know it's not a truth. Because I absolutely know, it does not matter what other people think of me. So I don't say the opposite of what Wendy said. It does not matter what other people think of me. They are in their sovereign, and they have every right to choose whatever they think to believe. What they think about me is their business, and it's none of mine. And as soon as you know that, you're then living in sovereign. Does that make sense? And it's knowing it and believing it and feeling it totally and internally. And the way in which we do our coaching is that when people tell us in their sovereign, and we go, fuck off, you're lying. Because we know when you're not saying it as you mean it. We know when you are truly in your sovereign. Because we are energy ninjas as well, it changes. Something changes in our energy. And we actually feel it when you dismantle one of your columns. We actually feel it change. I've actually had shivers run down my back. I've had when we were doing something with Wendy, there was one where she was saying it and I'm going, this is not happening, Wendy, there's something going off here, because her saboteur was playing games with her. And I could actually feel the cords around her neck as it was running round and trying to wrap her to stop her from speaking, because it was just so strong energetically at that point. So you know that we know that you know. So that's the purpose of what we do. And that's the difference. So we're happy to give you some more lines that you can use when you have done your child rant or whatever rant, because come Friday, we're going to give somebody the opportunity to do an example rant so that we can go through it. It does take a while if there's a lot to go through.
Yeah.
So we may not go through the full aspects of a full rant. We might just go through parts of it to help you get there.
Process.
And describe the process so that you can do it. Because we also know that there have been so many times that we just couldn't do it on our own.
Mm-hmm.
We just couldn't. And that's because if I'd not had Wendy, I could not have grown in the leaps and bounds that I've grown in the last 4 months if I'd not had Wendy and Harriet holding that mirror up and telling me when I was still lying.
Yeah,
when I was not there.
Because the person who we can lie to the easiest and who we can convince the easiest. And pretend. And for some people, those lies are that well repressed.
They don't even come to the surface.
They don't even come to the surface. And especially if they've been repressed for a lifetime. I think it was one of your ladies, wasn't it, that didn't even know what self-doubt was.
What self-care, what self-worthiness.
Self-worth, yeah. Self-worth. Didn't know what the meaning. So when you go, so what scale on 1 to 10 do you give your self-worth? She goes, what's self-worth? So you kind of go, that is how deeply repressed it was. And the same for her anger, that she said she'd never expressed anger in her life. a body expressed it for her, I've got to tell you folks, because she was ill.
Which is totally different. So tonight, what we can do then is for those things that from your shadow. Hi, Juliet. Nice to see you, darling. Have you done, you can speak here because there's not that many of us. Did you identify any child things that you came out with today? Any observation of your child's subconsciousness in action?
I didn't actually see the worksheet for today. I did check back a couple of times, but I haven't actually seen. But I know you're quite highly on the child thing.
Yeah.
I think definitely, because you said child parent, you go between the
child parent. If we give you the example, it's a bit like victim rescuer.
It's a bit like the drama triangle.
Two parts of
as opposed to being
victimhood,
as opposed to being power. Yeah.
Tomorrow's. We'll be coming on to that one tomorrow. But the child energy is the one that's about, it's not fair. It's I need to be looked after, or I'm responsible for you because I'm in parent mode, but it's not helpful parent, it's critical parent, it's
interfering parent.
It's interfering parents because
it's not treating me as an adult parent.
And that's what we used to do a lot. I mean, seriously, a lot.
Linda thought she was my mother and I just told her to fuck off.
She did. She went into rebellious child every time.
Sorry, I hope you're not listening to Juliet. You've got your children there listening.
No, don't worry, I'll mute you.
because I just used to, because I could see where Wendy needed to do things and I couldn't understand why she wasn't doing them. Because obviously as a parent, I wanted her to grow. So I'd tell her what she needed to do to grow. And Wendy would go, who the fuck do you think you're telling? Only not always in polite words like that. And it then got to the stage where I'd move into my prostitute energy and shut up and not say anything because I didn't want to upset her because she was so thing.
Bullshit.
And it seriously, our interactions, if you're talking about, what's the word? Dysfunctional. We've been dysfunctional all our life and we didn't know. We've seriously been dysfunctional in how we've interacted together all our lives.
Yeah.
And it's only now that we're loving and living, respecting each other as two sovereign beings, as twins, that can stand apart and be together.
Yeah.
And not feel that responsibility and that thing for each other and not going to rebellious child no matter what happens. And I wasn't in rebellious child to her this morning. I was just, my computer was the one that did it when I pressed, when it said, do you want to save? And I'd just done a whole brochure and I'd clicked and crossed something over. I clicked on a testimonial, put it into the brochure. And then it said, do you want to save? And I thought I was still on the testimonial. So I said, no. So all the work I'd done this morning just disappeared in one fell swoop. And I was not happy. And then she laughed. She laughed. So that's where I was then.
Yes, when you talk about saboteur energy, about showing when you
this
are
is coming on
showing
Friday.
up for who and what you are. We've had some amazing stuff happen around this 5-day challenge, folks, for the two of us as we've worked through it. It's like, saboteur, you can nanas it. You're not stopping us. But it has been literally the numbers, the mistakes, the errors, the stuff that's not gone, and we kind of go, pot it.
Doesn't matter, because the people who are meant to be here will be here and will do what needs to be done. So I'm going on now. So moving on to sovereign energy so that you can understand it. Let's just think about who our sovereign is and what her beliefs are.
I am sovereign in my world.
Your sovereign is the opposite energy to child. And it is that. It's the creator of your visions.
I am my own source of power.
And I am master of my world.
And everything is in my control.
And these are the beliefs which run the sovereign energy.
And I know how to make decisions.
And I am a sovereign being, yeah. And I used to have, this is my body, this is my baby, and I'm in control. And that's one I learned donkeys years ago, when donkeys being 30.
Mm-hmm.
Do donkeys live past 30 years? They do, don't they? Donkeys years ago. I learned it donkeys years ago when I was pregnant. And I did not want the fucking interference of the medical profession. So it was an absolute no-no. So I learned this is my body, this is my baby, and I'm in control. And I knew I was going to have my baby early. And everyone said you couldn't do it. and I did. And Wendy used to put things into my head because it was really useful because she was taking me under hypnosis through childbirth. But one of the things that she said, because we knew the metaphysics of illness serves a purpose at that time. And one of the other things is we created my mantra, which was, this is my body, this is my baby, and I'm in control. And at the same time, when I said something about, oh, you know, when saboteurs coming in your ear, oh, what if I go into labour during the day and the doctors are there telling me what to do? She says, Linda, don't you realise that's not going to happen? And I'd not realised what I was in sovereign energy at that time. She says, you'll go into labour at night when there's no doctors. If you don't want some doctors, you'll go into labour at night because there's no doctors. So I went into labour at night because she was kind enough to suggest it to my unconscious. And my sovereign went, I'll have that. And off we went, and that's what happened. So I went into labour at 11:45 and my baby was born at 7:30.
And I took her through under hypnosis for the full 7 hours.
Yes. So it was good fun.
Yeah.
And what else does our sovereign say? What she does is she makes decisions easily. And she's the person, she's our energy, she's our sovereign consciousness that creates the visions, that knows what you want, that actually creates the dreams of your child and makes them a reality.
Mm-hmm.
And she does this with the help of the next two consciousnesses that we're going to talk about tomorrow, which is the warrior and the magician on Friday. So it's all four coming together that brings it together. And I'll read out what happens when all four come together. It's, I am a sovereign being who has the ability to decide what I want in life. The inspiration and the intuition to know what to do, magician. The strength and determination to do what needs doing, warrior. And the absolute certainty that I deserve the best that life has to offer, lover.
Yeah.
So that is what you get when you are living in all four of the higher level consciousness columns.
Yeah.
So let's listen to some more of what our sovereign
it.
can
Let's go.
say. I've got some more down.
Uh-uh.
I take responsibility for making my life, my dreams a reality. The other one that's a really good one for anyone who feels that they have lost control in their life is to say, I decide what happens in my life. The sovereign is the decision maker.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've had relationships that have not been the best relationships, if you're having difficulty coming to terms to surroundings and things that are surrounding you, whether it's where you spend Christmas, or whether it's facing decisions about what you can do to help someone in your family in the same way that Andrea has, it is that thing, I decide what happens in my life. Without apology, without seeking approval, knowing that I am sovereign in my life. It's only I have the power to change my life. I know I have the power to change my life, and it's knowing that it's only you. It doesn't come from outside. This is my
This was
energy.
a biggie for me, actually, thinking about the separation from the husband, because what I realised, and it's very, very relevant for this child sovereign dynamic, in that the dynamic that I lived with Charles was all child consciousness, child shadow consciousness. Given that I met him within a year of coming out of a cult, and that then he came along to look after me, not to rescue me, because I didn't need rescuing. And Linda had done.
I'd already rescued her.
That it was that I needed, and it was that he was there to look after me. So, and literally from the first times that we spent together, when he'd run me a bath, he'd do all sorts of things for, he'd do, he'd say literally that his job was to look after me. And I just accepted it because that was my sense of entitlement as a child and as a little princess, and how wonderful I am and all of this. And I didn't realize how destructive it was until I started on the energy alignment journey. And within that energy alignment journey, when I started to grow up and want to make my own decisions, but even then I went into rebellious child that I omitted to tell him things. So I didn't lie to him. I just chose not to tell him certain things. And right up to the discussions that I was having with Linda and Harriet before I came to the decision about leaving him, it was very, very much that I was so frigging reluctant to give up that energy of being looked after. I was so reluctant to not have somebody there to take care of me, because it's so much frigging easier, and we're not meant to do. But yet it was stifling me and killing me at the same time. So when we talk about the child sovereign energy, it's the one that is that if filling out the chart, if I'd have been doing that chart 5 months ago, 6 months ago, just before I left Charlie, I'd have been literally at, I think, number 10 out of 10 for a child, because that was how strongly, and if I wasn't in the child energy, I was in the parent responsible energy. So when working at the nursing homes, I even had my deputy said, I thought, oh, my mother. So literally that's how strongly I was in the parent. So you know, when Linda said she was parenting me, I was parenting everybody at work. I was feeling responsible for them. I was worrying about them. I was doing, so I cannot describe. And today, literally today was the day that I got rid of the final aspects of that particular shadow when I let my daughter go. Oh, wait, it stood me now. But that is the one that when you let them go, it's the hardest. But do you know what? It's been absolutely fucking amazing. So there you go, folks. That's my little story. I'll let Linda take over.
Yes. And it's the other thing around being in sovereign energy. You recognize that no one else's actions have any power over your sense of self, your identity, your happiness, or your well-being. So as a statement, I would say no one else has any power over my sense of self, over my identity, over my happiness, or my well-being. And it's when you can say this congruently and know that you have already dissolved and disseminated the child energy and the parent energy.
Yeah, I had a little bit of victim come up there, folks.
And it's okay to know that you don't do it in one go. We've been doing this for months, working consistently, totally.
Yeah, we have actually. Yeah.
Consistently.
Every
time it's come up.
3 a.m.
Yeah, it's had as profound an effect as 10 months VAM's had, and more, because it's hidden, it's found the hidden things that we didn't have before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the joy of what it's done. So it's the so within that, what was I saying to you? It's recognizing that there's no one else that is anything more than you, because you create your own world, you create your own life, you are sovereign. You are sovereign, and you're sovereign, and you're sovereign, and I don't know which one I'm pointing to, and you're sovereign, and you're sovereign, and you're sovereign, and you are all sovereign beings who know and are responsible for what you do in your life. And I love all of you. So how do you release and step into? It varies in different ways. So Juliet, to release the child, first of all, you name it, you see it, you identify that it is lies, and you energetically separate from it, is the only way I can describe it to you. We have different processes that we take people through
For the separation.
And it so depends totally on what your submodalities are as to what's the best way to release it for you. And that's the way in which we do it. The other way that you do it is, if you don't have that, is you simply recognize it for being the lies. And I would suggest, if you don't have us there to take you through the rest, is that you sit in one seat while you rant as your things, and then you stand up and you move out of it and say, and that person was telling lies.
Yeah.
So that you can separate from it and then go, and now I recognize that they were all lies, but you have to identify which column it came from. And sometimes you have to be really clear about the difference and the subtleties between the energies to be able to let it go. Because when we come to Friday, you'll know why, because the saboteur's a crafty bastard. And the saboteur's the one that will try and cock up when you're getting closest to where you need to be.
Closest to your dream.
Closest to your dream. It'll fuck your computer up. It'll make you delete things, and it'll do all those sorts of things. So it's that is what will make the difference. So you can do this on your own to a point, and you can do it a damn sight better if you do it with somebody who can take you through it. Or me, or Harriet, who's our other alchemist.
Yeah.
So we call it alchemizing it, because you are absolutely, it's not just about releasing the energy, it's alchemizing what's inside you so that you turn the lead into gold, so that you can use that energy for the betterment of your higher self. So that's the way that it works. Do we have anything to add here other than to say, do you need any more information about the thing?
Sovereign?
We will be talking about the program in more detail.
Yes. Beatrice,
Tomorrow.
Transforming and Transmuting.
That's it, transforming and transmuting.
So anybody wondering about the program, it is a 4 weeks, it starts with a 4 weeks intensive. And that 4 weeks intensive is your kickstart to the rest of your life.
Yeah. And during that process, you work in depth on 4 key issues.
So what you're going through within this 5-day program is what we do. It's a version of the
It's a deeper version of the
deeper
induction,
version of
actually.
the induction and introduction, so that you get an understanding of what you'd be doing. So anybody who does come straight onto the program won't need to do the induction, because you've already had the equivalent of that, and would then be in a position to start sorting the shit out straight away.
Okay. So, and we will talk some more about, and it's the start of the rest of your life once you do it.
Yeah.
Because I just can't express. If we will tomorrow, if we found, when we find
I'll be posting a testimonial tomorrow from
Into the group.
and some people will know the lady that's already done it. So I'll be posting that testimonial, and I'll also be posting an audio testimonial into the group tomorrow from one of the chaps that's done it. So that'll give you some clues as to what you can expect from the program.
Is there a workbook 3? Yes, there is. Have you loaded it up, Wendy? From this
Not yet.
morning? No, it's my bad. Because, you know, when you say saboteur comes in, it comes in energetically as well. I have discovered that you can't just add, because MailChimp's our current
Email.
not for
provider.
long. It's our current email notification system. And it won't let you add things over a certain number of things. So that means your
Over
workbook
gigabytes.
over so many gigabytes for you to be able to link to it.
So she linked it. She did download the high quality PDF instead of the one that is the lower quality, that is the lower memory, that then allows you to attach it to emails and to post it on Facebook.
But that was day one, while Saboteur was in full swing at trying to stop us getting to here.
Yeah.
So there you go. It's not anymore. We've got it done. We're
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
done. So we'll
Yeah.
get that posted for you now.
So yes, I will post workbook 3, and workbook 3 simply goes through the things that we posted this morning. So Juliet, you can just look at this morning's. I think it was about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes this morning. So where it was the full things on child. So anybody got any questions? Anybody want to say anything other than I love you and it's fabulous talking to you, and it's magic that we can all connect in this way?
How much is the course?
It's £850.
but we will be offering. No, there is an offer.
Oh,
for
but there
people
is
in
an
this
offer for
group.
people on this group.
Okay. Thank you. And now the love and the hugs.
Lots of loves and
Oh, no,
hugs.
we have got an advantage.
Yeah, I know.
We did it. We went into one of the nursing homes. You know, when all this crap started, we were still in saviour mode of trying to rescue people and doing our bit. So we actually went to work in the care homes, and it was.
Did not let you out. Did
Yeah, they let us out. Yeah, they did. But there was one day I'd gone in. I was covering one shift, and Wendy I knew was covering the next shift. And I'm working with this nurse on this shift, and she very seriously, absolutely, totally, I knew she'd got COVID. She knew she'd got COVID, but the silly coward turned in because she couldn't let everybody down. I'm like, no, come on, spread it around. It's a care home, you stupid idiot. But I wasn't in the place where I am now, where I spoke my mind. No, seriously, I wasn't. And she, so I knew she'd gone home that night. She weren't coming in the next day, but I knew who she was on with the next day. So at 7:30, I get this phone call. Linda, do you want to work an extra shift? Do you want to come in and be on with me? And I went, oh, okay then, because I'd just done one. And I knew the residents, and I knew it was a straightforward home, and it was okay, wasn't it?
Oh,
And
it was
was
a nice
actually
place to work, actually.
So I went in. So it was the beginning of, first serious lockdown where nobody spoke and nobody did anything. So
And nobody broke any rules.
Nobody broke any rules. So I walked onto the ward, and the first thing we did is we ran up to each other and hugged each other. Like, you can't do this. Because we don't care, we're sisters. We don't care what rules we break on this one. So, but it really is that thing about, yeah, I can't wait until I'm out there hugging people again. There are other people on here that have broken rules as well, I can say, and hugged.
Oh, yeah.
Eh?
I said, oh, yes.
Oh, yes, I'm sure that there is, yeah. Yes. And that's what we do when we're in our sovereign being. We go, whose rules?
Yes, whose rules? I operate by my rules, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, can you imagine if everybody was at their sovereign?
Yeah, if
everybody were in the sovereign,
we'd be telling Boris to fuck off. That's what we'd be doing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we would, absolutely we would. Who are you?
Good.
And supported by our warrior.
Because if you think about it, when we're talking shadow consciousness, the shadow consciousness of government is actually in the parent-child mode, because they are treating us as though we are children who do not know what is good for us, and telling us what is good for us and expecting us to comply like good children.
Yeah.
So
And there's lots of people out there in
totally-
child mode going, yes, okay.
Yeah, and then there's the others going in rebellious child mode, naff off. And it is all that child shadow consciousness. In fact, as far as the whole world is concerned, and with this COVID game, it is, for me, there is a huge chunk there is child consciousness and there is victim consciousness. And we're doing victim consciousness first thing tomorrow. And I sometimes visualize the child consciousness and the victim consciousness. They do this, they walk together hand in hand. Because if you're not in one, you're in the other, and it just literally is the way that they're so intertwined. And there are times where the behaviour that you display can be the same behaviour, but it can either come from child or it can come from victim, because it depends on what is the underlying consciousness and feeling that's at the back of it, whether it's poor me or F you, that it's and resentment. So where there's resentment, it's likely to be child. Where it's awful, oh, aren't I awful, oh, I'm struggling, oh, it's terrible, then it is going to be victim. But we'll cover more of that tomorrow morning.
I have another question.
Yes.
So why are you so specific saying consciousness and not energy?
Because that's what it is.
What's the
Because it's
difference?
shadow consciousness.
What's
So
the
it's
difference?
shadow,
It's
you can
about
call it shadow
unconscious.
energy, and it's because it's unconscious. You are not aware of it, so it's out of your conscious awareness. So it is, and it is that, I don't know why I'm saying consciousness, I just know that it is. So I know what I know, and I know that I know it, and I know that it's about consciousness.
I
not
totally
about
understand
energy.
that. Yeah.
And everybody says it's about energy, but no, it's not. And that's a gobsmacking statement to me as I'm saying this, Beatrice, because it's the first thing that has come out of my lips.
I was very pleasantly surprised that a lot of information I got from you in these 2-3 days actually are matching a lot of information that I'm studying with human design, because the human design shows that conscious and unconscious aspect of your being.
Which
And-
is why you got the best scores.
But that I wanted to know I wanted to know what the reason is, because it's practically all its energy. It could be conscious energy or unconscious energy. That this is my understanding. But I thought you have another logical explanation, which I totally understand if you don't want it. Not everything.
And the logical explanation is a request by the saboteur, because the magician doesn't care about logic and it just knows. And that's why I said to you, I don't know. I know that I know, but I don't know. I just know.
Consciousness, whether it's conscious or unconscious, I think it comes from deep down inside you. That's where I think that's where it originates from. That's where it's stored.
But that's
energy.
And it's energy.
Is something that can be brought from outside in.
Yeah.
You can't get your conscious from outside and put it in you, but you can do that with energy. You can move all of that around. That's more around you, and it comes into you.
It's just clicked. It is we are human beings. We are conscious beings. And yes, we are made up of energy and we are energetic, but we are conscious of that energy. So like, we don't know that dogs are conscious. I know that there's an element of it, but in terms of, and I think that that's the point, it is about, so you can call it an energetic consciousness, you can call it whatever, but it is about being aware of being aware.
It's about the whole process of bringing from unconscious to the conscious.
Yes, totally.
And it's the thing about being human, the thing that takes you into the core of all that is being aware of being aware.
Yeah.
Place. And that's it. And that's why it's consciousness.
Yeah.
And it's the sub, i.e. unknown or repressed. It's repressed consciousness because it's not up. Okay. That's the only way I can think about it. I'm making it up now, so I'll shut up.
Thank you.
I am making it up now. So that's it. So, people.
Thank you so much. So be aware that tomorrow we'll tell you a little bit more about this program that we're running, and keep you informed of how we can be of help to you, should you so wish, knowing that you have been drawn to us. You are part of our little spider's web. We've pulled you in. So, and we promise it's a fun journey.
Okay, then. All right, then, people.
So thank you so much, folks, and we shall see you in the mornings, 9:30.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, people.